What are you afraid of? In this video, we're going to talk about how to manage the emotion of fear. I'm Ron with Lead Skill. We develop tools and resources to help people manage their emotions and develop their leadership skills in the process. Why is it that we like to go to scary movies when we know that we're going to be experiencing fear? Or why do we get on roller coaster rides? Why do people go parachute jumping or bungee jumping and do any kind of extreme sport, knowing that they're going to have to face the fear? Well, people who actually do those things would say it's because they like the feeling, the rush. They like to face the fear and what it does for them whenever they can push beyond it. So the thrills that come beyond it. Now, that's foreign to a lot of people. A lot of us just want to avoid and get away from the fear, stay as far away from it as possible. The truth is that we really can't do that in day-to-day life. We still experience fear, I would say, on a daily basis. The only thing is we don't always recognize the fear because it's often clothed as something else. We can see emotions in our body. When it comes to fear, what we typically do ourselves and what we can see others doing, whether it's an animal, a child, an adult, is we get small and we want to hide. We want to make ourselves almost invisible. The opposite, anger, on the other hand, is we want to make ourselves big and loud. We want to project power and aggression, like, don't mess with me. I am not someone that you want to get on the wrong side of. So for today, fear, it's anytime that you're feeling like you just want to shrivel up, you want to hide, you want to go find something to comfort yourself. That is what fear is about. This is one of the areas where the emotions wheel really helps us to uncover the fundamental or the core emotions. So in this series, we're working with emotions, and we're featuring the wheel that has 32 emotions on it. So besides the core 8, we've got 24 others that help us elaborate different varieties, different kinds of those core emotions. So for today, we're looking at fear. On the working with emotions wheel, fear is down here in this area, this quadrant. And the 3 additional words that we see there besides fear is cautious, nervous, and worried. So if you just stop and think about each one of those in turn. Worried, whenever I'm worrying about something, I'm actually afraid of something happening. And so I'm entertaining the possibility of what I don't want to see happen coming true. That's worry. Or if I'm being cautious, it's because I want to make sure that I keep some control, or I want to be careful so that what I'm fearing, what I'm afraid might happen, doesn't happen. Or if it does, I can have some sort of control and I can bail out, or I can get out of that situation quickly. Or if I'm nervous, that's another variety of fear. So each one of these are different words, and they're actually different experiences, but they all trace back to a common root. They're all varieties of fear. That's what working with emotions, the wheel, helps us to identify. If you wanted to go further, you could use one of our other wheels, like naming emotions. There's 6 words that help us go beyond fear. On naming emotions, we've actually got more on the wheel here that we can work with. We've got 3 additional besides cautious, nervous, and worried. We've got scared, anxious, and weak. So whenever you are weak-kneed, we would say, or you're just feeling in a place of weakness or vulnerability, there's often fear that is at the root of that. And if you wanted even more words, we've got 128 emotions on the full emotions wheel, where you can delve into more of the varieties of fear. So naming it is powerful, becoming aware of what exactly we're feeling and being able to put it in a category so that it's not a stranger to us and it doesn't have power over us. This is one of the things. Sometimes we actually fear naming our feeling. We think that, oh, it somehow gives it power. No, it actually gives us power when we can name what we're feeling, and we can do that with a fair bit of accuracy, we gain power over it. And that is especially true in the area of fear. Let's also remember that on the wheel, the core emotions are arranged in a specific order and they're in pairs. And so on the opposite side of the wheel from fear, we've actually got anger. So those are contrasting pairs. Anger as an emotion, generally in the body, physically, we are trying to project and make ourselves bigger. We're usually louder and more aggressive, even if it looks very different, such as a passive-aggressive stance. When someone is quiet and stern, but they're being passive-aggressive, they're actually trying to fortify and strengthen themselves and make themselves bigger, even if only to themselves, in the face of some sort of a threat. When we're experiencing fear, we generally want to make ourselves smaller. We want to hide behind something. We want to be quiet. When we're dealing with fear, generally we're going to muffle ourselves, keep ourselves quiet, try to make ourselves small, less obvious. And when you stop and think on that level, it helps us to realize, okay, there is a process. There's a natural biological process at play here. And if I can understand that, if I can learn to recognize it, now I'm not going to be run by it every single time. I can learn to manage and to perhaps even control my fear. So how do we do that? Let me give you a couple of tips. One of those is, first of all, locate the fear, the anxiety, the worry, the caution in your body. Where are you feeling it? Is it in the throat? Is it in your gut? Is it in the seat of your pants, in your bottom? Is it because your breathing actually becomes more constrained? Are your muscles tensing up? Are you trying to withdraw and make yourself small? In your posture, are you actually pulling yourself in and getting smaller? Often we're not even aware of this. It's subtle. But if you'll start to locate how you experience fear in your own body and start to recognize it, then the next time that one of these emotions, such as caution or worry or anxiety or being scared, feeling weak, anytime one of those comes up, you can say, I'm starting to see, I'm noticing that's fear. So now what do I want to do? Am I really being threatened? Is this a serious threat? Is my security on the line? Locate the fear in your body. Second of all, make courage. Make courage. What do I mean by that? What I'm saying is that courage is not something that starts with a feeling, but it's something that we do actively. We need to take steps in order to build up courage. One way that you may already be doing is to buddy up. So whenever I learned to scuba dive, one of the things that my instructor taught me was, don't go diving alone. Always have a buddy. And if you're diving in a group, you always buddy up. You always have someone else who's watching your back and someone that you can help them and they can help you. And you're assigned to one another to help each other as you're in the water, as you're exploring, as you're learning about scuba. And if you think about in everyday life, if you go it alone, you're more vulnerable. If you have someone along, or if you have a team with you, it makes it much more manageable. So buddy up or team up. That's another way to deal with fear. Third, one of the best ways to deal with fear is to simply take action. Now I say simply take action. It's not so simple. And if you're feeling paralyzed, that may be the last thing you want to do. But there is something about taking a step forward, about taking action, going right into the fear or the situation that most frightens you. I'm thinking about bungee jumping and the time that I took my 2 teenage boys and we were bungee jumping. Of course, I was being the dad and I was going to look out for them, and we were up on the tower. This is in Singapore. And I thought, you know, they're going to go first. They're lighter and I need to make sure everything is safe and everything. The instructor at the top said, you're the heaviest, and we set everything that you're going first. I wanted to have all the objections. Of course, I want to look out for my sons. I want to make sure they're safe. And he said, no, that's my job. You're going first. And you walk right to the edge. You've got the bungee cord wrapped around you, around your legs. You've got all the harnesses, and you take the plunge. You take the step over the side. You've got to begin with taking action. Do something. Do something positive. It helps if you will have a simple plan in place of what your plan of action is. Here's what I'm going to do. And don't make it complex. Don't make it difficult to remember. But a simple plan of action helps take down the level of fear. If there's something that you know you can study up a little bit or get some knowledge that will help you to deal with the fear, I think about scuba diving. Having the class, a scuba class in advance, learning about your gear, learning about all of the factors is very helpful whenever it comes time to actually slow down and breathe when you're on scuba gas. So prepare yourself with a little bit of knowledge, or prepare yourself, prep by just mental rehearsal before the fact, before you face an anxiety-provoking situation. That is a great way to deal with fear. So remember, locate the fear in your body, make courage, and then take action. Just face it down, take the step forward, go head on. You don't have to conquer the fear, but take a simple, concrete step. Take action, and don't let fear shut you down and stop you. I hope those are helpful tips that you will use, and if you will comment in the comments down below about what you have found is helpful in the face of fear to deal with the different manifestations, like I've mentioned, feeling cautious or nervous or worried, or fear itself, feeling afraid. Put those in the comments down below. Also, if you want a copy of one of our wheels, you can find more details in the links down below of how you can get yourself a copy of either a physical wheel or a digital download at our store. Also, if you're interested in having me speak to one of your groups or to a team, get in touch with us and we can talk about the details of that as well. I've really enjoyed each one of the videos in the series of working with emotions, and I hope you have too. If you haven't seen all of the others, take a look at those. I've got more details up here, and you can follow the playlist and watch each one of those. And we've got more resources on our channel, and I invite you to subscribe if you haven't already. And we want to continue to support you in the journey of growing your own leadership and developing emotional intelligence along the way.